Welcome back to the GCN Racing News Show. This week we're going to take a look at the route of next year's Giro DItalia, which already looks like it's going to be the toughest Grand Tour of 2019. We've got the European Cyclocross Championships, the Pan American Championships, the Koppenberg Cross, the Saitama exhibition race in Japan, and the stunning new kit of Trek Segafredo. Last week, the Giro d'Italia route was announced for 2019, and it is a brute. Gaps could already emerge on the very first day of the 102nd edition of the race because it's a short time trial which finishes up the steep slopes of the San Luca climb. And in fact, there is a distinct climbing flavour to all three of the time trials. Stage 9 is just under 35 kilometres, also in the Bologna region, and features a 10-kilometre climb at the end. And then the final day's 15.6 kilometre time trial in Verona features an ascent of the Torricelle climb. Lots of climbing then in the time trials, but they of course pale into insignificance when you look at the mountainous stages of next year's race. There are a number of opportunities for the sprinters over the first 10 days, including this on day 10, a stage I think even I might be able to finish, but then it's at the end of that second week that things start to get very spicy indeed. Stage 13 features 3 major climbs on its route from Pinerolo to the finish on the Col della Nivolette, which has gradients of over 15%. Stage 14 is a punchy 130-kilometre affair with another 3 major climbs, whilst the longest stage at 237 kilometres comes on day 15, that one closely resembling the route of Il Lombardia. And then there is stage 16, a whopping 230 kilometres long with 5,700 metres of climbing on its way to Ponte di Legno, including the Gavia, which peaks at over 2,600 metres, and the Mortirolo up the steepest side. Now, coming after the final rest day, this is going to be some test, as that is one of the hardest mountain stages that I can remember in modern times. It really is brutal. Got no doubt that that will be the single hardest stage of the 2019 Grand Tours, and that there will be more than a few tired, grumpy and disgruntled riders crossing the finish line that day. Certainly going to be an interesting watch, that's for sure. Shorter, more explosive stages have been in vogue over recent years, so we'll see whether this stage does deliver an epic performance or if it's so daunting that nothing happens until the Mortirolo. In terms of participants, at the moment we have no confirmation as to whether defending champion Chris Froome or the previous year's winner Tom Dumoulin will be heading back to Italy, but it does look as though Vincenzo Nibali will be there, possibly up against Egan Bernal of Team Sky, which would be great to see, whilst there are also rumours that Peter Sagan could be there for the first time in his career. I'm already looking forward to it, I must admit. Bring on 2019, I say. I would like you to get involved now, though, as well. We want to know what your favourite Grand Tour of the year is. Let us know by taking the poll that is on the screen right now. Over to the dirt now, and the European Cyclocross Championships were held at the weekend in Rosmalen, with the home nation dominating. Dutch riders taking home all but one of the gold medals at the weekend. In fact, they had a clean sweep of the medals in both the under-23 and elite women's races. Kaylin del Carmen Alvarado taking the gold in the former, whilst 22-year-old Anne-Marie Verst was best in the elite, getting the better of Marianne Vos. Sana Kant couldn't and finished just off the podium in 4th place. Pim Ronhaar won the junior men's event, but third in that category was 16-year-old Thibaut Nace, son of the cyclocross legend Sven. It's not just his fitness though, but his skills that have caught the eye over the last week. In fact, he basically won the internet when this video emerged of him earlier in the week around the Sven Nace training centre in Basel. Not bad, T-Bow, I'll give you that, not bad. Meanwhile, in the elite men's, there was some hope amongst the rest after Mathieu van der Poel's subpar performance at the Koppenberg Cross last Thursday. Hope that was rather short-lived, though, unfortunately for them. World champion Van Aert led from the start, but Van der Poel got himself back on terms before the end of the first lap, and soon after that, he rode away solo. And there was nothing that anybody could do about it. Van Aert was once again best of the rest in 2nd place. Never has the Dutch and Belgian dominance of this sport though been more evident than that elite men's race. 8 Belgians and 5 Dutchmen filled the top 13 places. The only rider in fact to break the stranglehold of Dutch European titles was Tom Pidcock. It's been a testing start to the season for the young Brit, now riding for TP Racing. But at the weekend, he was back to his best and got the better of double world champion Elie Iserbert for the under-23 event to claim a convincing win. On the other side of the pond, we also had the Pan American Championships. Stephen Hyde crashed out, and with Jeremy Powers not starting, it was Curtis White who managed to take the win. He outsprinted Michael van den Ham to take his first Pan Am title. And there was also a surprise too in the elite women's race. There, it was the Canadian Magali Rochette who beat Ellen Noble and Katie Keogh into 2nd and 3rd respectively. Katie Compton didn't make the trip back from Europe to defend her title as she recovers from a stomach virus. Last week also saw the 29th running of the Koppenberg Cross, which is based around the infamous cobbled Koppenberg climb, which is on the Tour of Flanders route each year. There was a major surprise in the men's event in that Mathieu van der Poel didn't win. His unexplained subpar performance opened the door for Wout van Aert, but the world champion unfortunately wasn't able to capitalise. Instead, it was the winner of the first 2 rounds of this year's World Cup, Toon Aerts of Teleriffe Alliance, who emerged victorious. In the women's event, there was a hugely impressive performance once again from Kim van der Steyne. She managed to recover from a big mistake on the opening lap and clawed her way back to the front of the race before blasting past Anne-Marie Wust and Alice Arzoufi on the final lap to take her second big win of the season. Also trying his hand at cyclocross this weekend was Andre Greipel. The German competed in this discipline as a junior, and fresh off a 4-week break, he decided to ride the Riber Radcross in his hometown, getting that feeling that we all know and hate of having blood in your mouth. Fair play, Andre. Meanwhile, the who's who of pro road racing convened in Japan on Sunday for the Saitama Criterium. Winning the exhibition race was Alejandro Valverde, his first win in the Rainbow Stripes. He managed to get the better of yellow jersey wearer Geraint Thomas, with local favourite Yukiara Arashiro in 3rd place on the day. The Combativity Award went to European champion Matteo Trentin, whilst Alexander Kristoff took the points classification. Marcel Kittel had won the separate sprint competition earlier in the day, which meant that almost all the most famous riders came away with something to celebrate in what seemed like a very well organised race. Our very own John Cannings was over in Japan capturing some of the images around the race, whilst Ollie has been in Taiwan. There's already some very cool videos up on GCN and GCN Tech, but stay tuned because there are plenty more to come from those events. The first of the 2019 Pro jerseys have just been released, with not just 1 but 2 from Trek Segafredo, who will of course have both a men's and a women's team next year. And I have to say, I'm a fan, very smart on both sides. The men's still red, but with a little less than this year, whilst the women's is a mixture of blue with white sleeves. Let us know your thoughts on the new kit in the comments section just down below this video. Meanwhile, EF Education First Drapac, powered by Cannondale, have revealed the worst kept secret in cycling, the re-signing of Lachlan Morton for the 2019 season. He and his brother built quite a following off the back of their Thereabouts series of videos, and as such, the Australian was a perfect choice for the team's new venture with Rafa Clothing, which, as we've mentioned before, will involve some of their riders competing in some as yet unspecified non-pro events, not to mention, of course, his incredible climbing talents. Back to pro events though, and fingers crossed, it seems that there could be a very important addition to the pro calendar in the not too distant future, in the form of a women's Paris-Roubaix. This was from an interview that UCI President David Lapassion gave last week, in which he revealed that ASO were working on the event and hoping to get it off the ground in 2020. Now, we have already been having quite an in-depth discussion in the office about who would be the first winner of that event. Sai has gone for Anna van der Breggen to become an all-conquering over every type of terrain rider. I've gone for Ellen van Dijk. Catherine reckons it'll be Lucinda Brand, whilst Emma has gone for Jolien Dura. You can let us know who'd be your pick for the first ever women's Paris-Roubaix in the comments section just down below. That is almost all for this week. Before we finish, a quick reminder of what we've got coming up over on Facebook this weekend. More live racing in the form of the DVV Trophy in Neal on Saturday and the Super Prestige in Gavra on Sunday. I'll also be back this time next week with a report from those races and all the other news from the world of pro cycling. Now, if you would like to see how a carbon frame is made, Ollie recently took a trip over to Look Cycles, and there's a video on that which you can find just over here.